Hello everyone, welcome again to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. I apologize for the mistake I made a few minutes ago. It is something wrong with my broadcasting system. Anyway, I'm doing it again. Hope you are still here. While the tension in the world is accelerating, it was revealed that the CCP had already deployed 2 intercontinental ballistic missiles aimed at the US. In the meanwhile, the CCP's plan to use its high-speed trains to carry nuclear missiles has also caused wide attention. So today I will talk about these 2 specific issues, as well as the ideological basis of the CCP's nuclear threat. And at the end of the show, I will show you a video that you must have never seen before, with some shots showing the CCP's train missile launcher and its launching test. So make sure you stick around till the end. If you haven't watched 真相 yet, and if you live in Washington, D.C., Italy, and Taiwan, you still have a chance to watch it this year. Check the show schedule and buy your tickets from shenyun.show/Jennifer-Zeng to get a discount. Now, let's move to our topics today. A while ago, Lude Media, which revealed the top secret recording of the CCP's all mobilization meeting, made a very shocking allegation that the CCP had already deployed 2 Dongfeng-41 or DF-41 intercontinental ballistic missiles aimed at the US. And the 2 missiles are in a place called Mohe in Heilongjiang province in China. And this is the map provided by Lude. One of the 2 missiles aimed at Washington, D.C., one at Texas. And he said the 2 trajectories were drawn out by someone inside the CCP's combat command. According to Lude, the ballistic trajectories were carefully calculated to dodge the U.S. missile defense system, and the missiles can reach the U.S. targets as fast as 18 minutes. He said the missiles will be using geomagnetic navigation systems instead of satellite navigation to reach their targets. The calculation of the missile trajectory was based on the Earth's rotation and the characteristic of the Arctic magnetic field. The trajectory routes were carefully calculated and simulated. The goal is to use Dongfeng-41 to achieve the so-called strategic decisive victory for the CCP. And look at this map. The red color circle at the right top is where Mohe City is located. You can see it is located in the northernmost part of China. See the geographic coordinates under that circle. So the missiles can only reach the US from here. Lude said the calculation of the trajectory routes across the Arctic were very complicated, but both the CCP and Russia have overcome the hurdles. I asked him whether the CCP and Russia did the calculations together, or did one party overcome the difficulties first and then taught the other party. And he said, Russia has the basic data, and as it has been collecting space data for decades, all the data came from its space station, and it's mainly the Earth's magnetic field data. And then, based on the data, the CCP did the calculations with methods that it stole from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the United States. I asked him who stole the technology and when, he said. The geomagnetic navigation was an open source technology first developed by MIT. The geomagnetic field of the North Pole changes all the time, and the geomagnetic field also changes when you cross the North Pole from the Eastern Hemisphere. So it is difficult to calculate the routes without the parameters of data change. MIT had developed a geomagnetic sensing ship, and the CCP stole that technology and applied it to missiles. Then the CCP poured all the resources inside China to develop this system. It is very complicated, so the technology development was very, very difficult. In the meantime, Russia had developed a geomagnetic navigation algorithm model, and the CCP provided funding to continuously improve this model and data. Therefore, the Dongfeng-41 missile based in Mohe is not guided by satellite, but by the geomagnetic navigation. Lu De said, in the event of war, the CCP and Russia will first shoot down U.S. military satellites. Without military satellites, U.S. missile defense system will be partially unresponsive. Then the U.S. will also shoot down Chinese and Russian military satellites. So that's why the CCP and Russia want to adopt geomagnetic navigation. Well, the above is what Lu De told me when I interviewed him. He also said that the CCP is dead set on taking Taiwan, but if it is possible, the CCP wants to force Taiwan to surrender without fighting. To do that, the CCP must cut off all foreign aid. Also, Taiwan is only one step in the CCP's strategic decisive victory. Their ultimate ambition is to force the US to agree to the CCP's terms. Since the CCP has been studying and analyzing the US military for many years, it understands that it can't confront the US Army directly. But the Cuban Missile Crisis made them believe that there is a chance to force the US to negotiate by deploying the missiles close enough to the US. That is the most possible way to succeed. Well, the above is what Lu De revealed and said. I have no other way to verify or falsify it. But as a Chinese idiom says, it is better to believe it than not to believe it. To be prepared for the worst is never a bad idea. That's why I'm talking about this here. I don't understand much about the technology side, but I believe there are people who do understand, so they can make their own judgment as to whether these allegations have any merit. If you have any feedback, please leave us a comment here. Next, let's move to our next topic, the CCP's bullet train nuclear missile launcher. Earlier this month, The Sun in the UK published an article saying that the CCP's plans to use its high-speed trains to carry nuclear missiles could put 1,000 warheads in reach of US and European cities. The article says under plans being developed, the doomsday trains would use the country's 23,000 miles of high-speed track to whistle nukes around the country and 220 miles per hour to be deployed in the event of war. The article says that a Chinese research team recently published a paper at Southwest Jiaotong University in Chengdu City in China and concluded that high-speed trains could perform even better than conventional ones as they are faster and more smooth. This means that on high-speed rails and the mobility, safety, and concealment of military vehicles could be better. Well, this is the report of the Sun. Actually, similar reports have been appearing in China for years. For example, this report in 2015 was titled Hong Kong media says China's test launch of the Dongfeng 41 was a major breakthrough. Railroad mobile launch was realized. This report in 2016 is titled In Depth, China's Dongfeng 41 missile train revealed to be able to move thousands of kilometers per day. And this report in 2017 says China's rocket force Dongfeng 41 intercontinental ballistic missile train moving freely, mission accomplished. And this article in 2018 says Dongfeng 41 missile high-speed train can move from north to south in 3 hours, hit all the world in 30 minutes. And this article in 2019 says Dongfeng 41 World Express mission accomplished. Dongfeng 41 finale covering the whole territory of North America, loading the warhead in movie. And this report this year is titled How Powerful is China's Rocket Army's ICBM Train? And this article that was published only a week ago says missile train, only China and Russia have this black technology. Now, I have something very unique to show you. It is a 3-minute video released by a military channel on October 9th, 2019, right after the CCP's large-scale military parade on its 70th National Day anniversary. At the end of this video, there are several shots showing CCP's intercontinental missile train that carried Dongfeng 31. I believe those shots came from CCTV, China Central Television's evening news in 2006 and 2007. So watch carefully and read the English titles too, as the video is in Chinese. I just translated it today.
谢谢观看本期罗马军师。在国庆70周年阅兵式中，中国重型战略核武器在战略打击方阵中华丽亮相。其中，巨浪2型潜射洲际弹道导弹、东风41洲际导弹更是焦点中的焦点。承载重型导弹的导弹发射车，毫秒不差地驶过天安门广场，不仅让国人为之自豪，更让祖国母亲放心。作为战略威慑的核心，洲际导弹成为各国争相研发的对象。但是，从固定发射井发射的洲际导弹，在首轮核打击中生存的概率非常低，因而出现了公路机动的导弹发射车和战略导弹核潜艇。随着技术的发展，世界上出现了第5种洲际导弹的发射方式，那就是铁路发射。20世纪50年代末期，美国就曾考虑把当时研制中的民兵1型导弹部署在火车上，但由于种种原因终未实现。但是60年代初，美国已经服役了第1代华盛顿级弹道导弹核潜艇。由于苏联缺乏弹道导弹核潜艇，为了弥补2次核打击手段的差距，苏联决定发展铁路机动发射系统，克服固体燃料等相关技术后，1982年10月，RT-23弹道导弹进行了首次飞行试验。1987年开始服役。RT-23弹道导弹采用发射井布置和铁路机动布置的方式，是世界上第1种以铁路机动方式部署的陆基洲际弹道导弹，也是世界上第1种以火车作为导弹系统的陆基弹道导弹系统。这种与普通火车无异的列车被称为导弹列车或死亡列车。RT-23弹道导弹射程达到1.3万公里，最大起飞重量104吨，每枚导弹可携带10枚，爆炸当量在10至35万吨之间的分导式核弹头，只需1枚便可摧毁半个欧洲。1987年起，苏联一共部署了4个铁路机动导弹师，共12列导弹列车，每列导弹列车上都配备有3枚 RT-23弹道导弹，瞬间可发射36枚核导弹，核弹头高达360个。 是一座名副其实的运行在铁轨上的核武器库。导弹列车在装备军队后，这种世界上独一无二的武器系统让整个西方世界都感到了震惊，尤其是美国更是谈之色变。因为核危机一旦触发死亡列车系统，即便美国同时动用300颗卫星，恐怕连它的影子也追踪不到。苏联解体后，由于经济压力，俄罗斯战略火箭军相继拆除了2T-23洲际导弹列车，和永久性暂停了于2016年启动的巴尔古金军用铁道导弹系统。这种一夜机动上千公里的导弹列车又被称为陆地核潜艇。值得庆幸的是，我国同样具备这种陆地核潜艇，并且是目前为止全球独一无二的死亡列车。2006年2月中旬，2炮部队洲际弹道导弹列车亮相新闻联播。2007年2月14日，2炮东风31洲际弹道导弹列车再度亮相，震撼各界。今年6月1日，中国人民革命军事博物馆一个讲述世界弹道导弹5种发射方式的沙盘模型中，首次公开展出了我国的导弹列车。一列普通的绿皮火车刚刚驶出隧道，车厢顶棚突然打开，露出一枚东风31洲际导弹，大杀器迅速竖起，随时待发。据悉，本次国庆阅兵中压轴出场的东风41洲际导弹，早在2015年便进行过导弹铁路弹射试验。如果这一消息属实，那么它将是中国火箭军最重要的反击作战武器。
Well, the above are some basic facts and media reports about the train launcher system. What made me more uneasy is this article that was published in 2018. The article says China has been adopting a no first use of nuclear weapons policy for many years. And now China has announced 3 new principles for the use of nuclear weapons. Basically, the CCP will use nuclear weapons first under the following circumstances. Number 1, when China's nuclear facilities are attacked. Number 2, when China's conventional weapons are hit by nuclear strikes. And number 3, when China's large facilities, such as the Three Gorges Dam, are destroyed. So these are the 3 new red lines for the CCP to strike back with a nuclear weapon. Although this article seems to be just from some individual, and I haven't found any official announcement of the 3 new principles. The fact that this article can be allowed to exist on the internet shows that the CCP kind of agrees or doesn't oppose it. You know, a while ago, China's top influencer Li Jiaqi's live stream on June the 3rd was suddenly cut off when he showed a tank cake, as June 4th was the 33rd anniversary of the Tiananmen massacre, so the image of the tank was too sensitive, so his stream was cut off immediately. Since then, he has disappeared from the internet, leaving his 170 million fans in dismay. Nobody understood why. Li Jiaqi is a very young man born in 2022. That's 3 years after the Tiananmen massacre. So I guess he knew nothing at all about it. That's why he innocently showed the tank cake. As an e-commerce live streaming host, I don't think he has any political aspiration to stage such a protest in his live streaming. So the point here is, if something is not allowed in China, the CCP will make it disappear right away. So for things that are allowed, they are things that the CCP approves, right? Now let's talk about the ideological basis and the CCP's nuclear aspiration. In 1955, the CCP's first generation leader, Chairman Mao Zedong, talked about World War III several times, and these were his main points. Number 1, World War is not terrible. After World War I, the first socialist country, the Soviet Union, came into being. And after World War II, a socialist alliance came into being. If World War III breaks out, we can achieve a world of universal harmony. Number 2, World War III should be fought early and big. It should be a nuclear war and be fought in China. And number 3, during this war, 400 million Chinese people could die. However, if we sacrifice 2/3 of China's population for a world of universal harmony, it is worthwhile. By the way, China's population was 600 million at that time, so 400 million was 2/3 of the population. And number 4 of Mao's points, after 400 million died, we still have 200 million people, and it won't take too many years for China to recover to 600 million people again. So these were Mao's thoughts and public statements in 1955. We all know that Xi Jinping is a big fan of Mao Zedong. Several days ago, on June 20th, CCP's most important mouthpiece Xinhua published an article in the most important section titled, "With the entire world in his mind and seeking universal harmony, President Xi Jinping offers profound enlightenment to the world with his global governance philosophy." Let me show you what the article looks like. See, this is the article. See, the photos the article used are all very grand photos, which can show Xi Jinping really has the whole world in his mind and all of his past achievements. This is a train from Xi'an to Europe. So this a train in Kenya. So all this is in, I think, Russia somewhere. So these are all the CCP's global achievement all over the world in all these years of Xi Jinping. So at the end, there is a big Earth model, and this is an aerial photo. So this is a very long article. And at the end of the article, it says, the concept of global governance advocated by President Xi Jinping opens up the all-human perspective of a shared destiny and brings together the spiritual synergy for the world to move forward together in a chaotic world. Well, if you are feeling sick with these grand words, they nonetheless reflect Xi Jinping's ambition. The article title uses the same words that Mao Zedong used, 世界大同, which means a world of universal harmony. And Xi is now actively seeking it. Well, I hope you can somehow get the hidden message here as much as I have. If you don't, please go back to the beginning of the show and check the trajectories of the 2 Dongfeng 41 missiles that are aiming at the US. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please do help me spread my channel and videos, or go to my website at jenniferzengblog.com. Sign up for a membership or make a donation to show your support. Thank you. See you next time.